The science of hope. Now, we were told long ago that the more boosty boost you got, safe, effective, and they work. Not only do they work, the experts told us you would then be immune. No more masks, no more lockdowns. If you just get boosted, you're fine. Turns out, wasn't so true. Dr. Birx went on TV where she admitted we overestimated what the boosty boost could do. We were trying to do something right. These are your experts, folks. Watch the double talk.
Last summer, President Biden said this, quote, "You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations. If you're vaccinated, you're not going to be hospitalized. You're not going to be in the ICU.
If you're vaccinated, you don't have a risk.
You're okay. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations."
Dr. Birx, can vaccinated people get COVID?
Yes.
As you heard, this morning I tested positive for COVID.
Have vaccinated people been hospitalized with COVID?
Yes.
2 of my own children have now contracted it, and this morning I learned I tested positive for COVID-19 as well.
And according to your testimony, it wasn't just President Biden who said things that were not accurate and were not true.
If you're unvaccinated, you have a much higher chance of getting this newly transmissible variant we had never seen before a couple of weeks ago. And it's the unvaccinated people who it's going to make sick.
Your testimony that you provided the committee, you said beginning in 2021, so beginning in the Biden administration, again, these are your words, agencies provided muddled and contradicting information or partial information that implied we knew something we didn't, which they later had to correct.
Time to do it. This is it.
Which accelerated the loss of respect and trust in the federal government.
I knew these vaccines were not going to protect against infection, and I think we overplayed the vaccines, and it made people then worry that it's not going to protect against severe disease and hospitalization. It will, but let's be very clear. 50% of the people who died from the Omicron surge were older, vaccinated.
It's as simple as black and white. You're vaccinated, you're safe. You're unvaccinated, you're at risk.
I'll come back to maybe my original question. Why should we believe anything the government tells us about COVID?
We knew early on in January of 2021 and late December of 2020 that reinfection was occurring after natural infection.
When the government told the American people that people who had been vaccinated couldn't get it, were they guessing or were they lying?
I don't know. All I know is there was evidence from the global pandemic that natural reinfection was occurring. And since the vaccine was based on natural immunity, you cannot make the conclusion that the vaccine will do better than natural infection, although it can often do slightly better.
But I think that's, I mean, you're an expert. You were on the task force. You were part of this effort when you were in the previous administration, and you're saying in this administration that you can't rule out the fact that our government was lying to us when they told us the vaccinated could not get the virus.
I don't know about their discussions that they had in the task force. So I can't tell you that. I can tell you as a family member who had individuals that were susceptible, of course we got everybody vaccinated, but we still use layered protection during surges because I knew potentially the vaccine immunity would wane like natural immunity waned. And there was evidence that every 4 months reinfection was occurring in South Africa.
Wow. When the government told us that the vaccinated couldn't transmit it, was that a lie or was that a guess? Or is it the same answer?
I think it was hope that the vaccine would work in that way. And that's why I think scientists and public health leaders always have to be at the table, being very clear what we know and what we don't know.
This is important for the country to know. So when I asked the question, when the government told us that the vaccinated couldn't get it, and I asked you if it was a guess or a lie, you said you don't know. You said you think it was hope. So what we do know is it wasn't the truth.
You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations.
Hope.
And it's the unvaccinated people who it's going to make sick.
Hope.
I'm quite concerned at states and people who don't get vaccinated, Chris. The situation is so clear, the data affirm. If you get vaccinated, you are protected, even with the Delta variant.
Hope.
We know that as a fact.
Hope.
It's really unfortunate and somewhat puzzling when the data are right in front of you and you know exactly what you need to do, and yet some people still are not getting vaccinated. That is very frustrating.
You're not doing what we're telling you to do, and that is very frustrating. This whole mask and boosty boost, It ripped my family in half. It ripped the comedy community in half. It divided the country. It divided the world. Everyone's calling each other names. Do you trust the science? Do I? And the people who need to see this are not going to see this podcast. They like to live in the bird box. Don't look at it and it's not there. But the reality is hope. They just were making everyone do things, taking your jobs away. We knew we were overselling the vaccine, but hope. And I'm guessing there was a lot of money involved because I was a sales rep for 5 years before a stand-up comedian. And I know what it's like when someone has a quota. Somebody has a quota and somebody's getting paid big bucks to push all that. CNN, MSNBC, obviously sponsored by Pfizer. Biden, I think, was getting some sort of kickbacks through his son, Birx, and Fauci getting billions for their next research project, which goes to their private homes. I'm sure of it because the way they're pushing it. And here's how I can prove it. Because now that, folks, the vaccines aren't really working, but we have something new for you. The experts and Pfizer now present Paxlovid. Order today. Are you tired of not getting the results you thought you were going to get from our latest experimental into the boing, boing, boing? Notice I can't say the words. My channel will get banned. Well, now there's Paxlovid. We've sold you the disease. Now we're going to sell you the cure. Go.
Well, if you're across the South and you're in the middle of this wave, what's going to save you right now is Paxlovid. So that's why I'm saying, even if you're vaccinated and boosted, if you're unvaccinated right now, the key is testing and Paxlovid. It's effective. It's a great antiviral. And really, that is what's going to save your lives right now.
I'm just in time. You see, the last thing we told you last year, we oversold it. But now we have the hot new solution, Paxlovid. That is the hot new science, the science of hope. When we come back, we're going to have a whole lot more. This could be my last ever broadcast, but it's worth it because I love talking to you guys about the truth.